So the first order of business is that uprooted tree, which I think only uprooted a week or two ago, because this is on sort of a main drag of mine, and I've not noticed it before. So this just happened recently. I had been in here earlier logging and didn't see it. So I'll grab that one out. It looks relatively small. I think it's a spruce. If so, I'm guessing the wood is probably going to be sound. I have the tractor set up right here in the road, so it should be a pretty easy pull once I cut the stem off the root ball and cut it to length. So that tree only yielded a 10-foot log, and it was 6 inches at the top, so I really can't go any further than that. It was a spruce. So that had about at $300 per thousand. I'm not sure what the going rate is. It's probably $3 to $3.50 per thousand for softwood. All that work was worth $3. That log at the mill is worth $3. So you can perhaps see up here, hopefully you can see it on camera, there's several stems, and there's several that are dead and several that are alive. This one here is dead. Died this year. I mean, there still has needles on, but they're brown. There might be some greens at the top, dead. That one there's dead. So yeah, there's some indication of maybe some green needles at the top. But while I'm here, maybe I can make myself $6 or $9 by cutting those down. Again, they're pretty narrow, pretty thin, but they might yield a 10-foot log or so that's 6, maybe 8 inches in diameter if I'm lucky. The other ones that are alive, that have decent stems, nice greenery right there, these guys. This was much denser here, maybe 5 or 10 years ago. So that's why there's really only a crown at the very top. But I think the rule of thumb is for a tree to continue to grow and take advantage of additional light that crown removal might have allowed it is about 1/3. And obviously the crown on these trees is much less than 1/3 the total length of the tree. So even though they're alive now, they're healthy, they probably won't do much. It's likely that they'll be blown over before they die. So I may be harvesting this area again in another year. So we'll see what these other trees net out, and we'll catch up with you then. Well, as it turns out, this $3 log is not even worth $3. I didn't see it, but you can see this extra stem here, almost a double top, was on the underside. I did not see it, but that would result in a huge knot. It's not gonna, you just get two 2x4s from it, so, and that'll be firewood. That was a $3 mistake. So I cut the first recent dead tree is right there. It looks sound. It's up against that other live tree straight ahead. So we'll pull that out and see what that one looks like. I'll try not to hit my chainsaw. So this log turned out to be pretty good. There's a little bit of punkiness around here, maybe half the diameter, but it's pretty close to the outside. A lot of that's just going to be wane when they cut it into 2x4s. And you can see how close the growth rings are apart. I'm guessing that tree, like a lot of the trees I have here, is probably 60 to 80 years old, maybe older. Tall and slender. So it had a lot of competition growing up. It doesn't now, because a lot of the trees around it have since disappeared. But the branches are non-existent, self-pruning. The ones that are there are very small. So as long as the wood is sound, it's very clear material and make excellent lumber. I got 3 10-foot logs out of it. The top is probably close to 8 inches, and there's not a lot of taper. Another indication of a lot of competition, because it was growing tall, putting all its energy into growing its height rather than its diameter, as opposed to a tree growing out in the open with more light will put more energy into branches, diameter, and a bit less energy into growing its height because there is no competition. So I have this other tree here, again, hit or miss whether it's going to be good wood or not. It's dead. I'm going to try to fell it so it falls where the top of this tree was, because that's pretty clear, nothing in the way, no danger to me, and not going to damage any good trees. So let's see how that works. Well, no luck with that one. It was too punky, so I just cut it up into 3 and 4 foot lengths, become nutrients. So the plan now is take down this near tree and 2 just beyond. I'm going to take the 2 down beyond it first, because that's where I want to lay this closer one. One of them is long gone, the other one is very suspect, but we'll see. But I'm going to down them anyhow. Well, none of those trees were good. I could cut them up, but it's so difficult trudging in the snow. The snow's not that deep, probably a foot. But the thing is, there's so much brush underneath here, you step through the snow and then you find yourself suddenly up to your crotch. So it's not fun to walk around, and I can cut those up in the summertime. So I might as well talk about regeneration. So this area of the forest, this little stand here, has slowly been opening up for the last 10 years as trees die. Some windthrow that I've taken out. But in its place, you can see some nice fir coming up there. A spruce here. Some of the brown needles are when it gets cold, when you get a freeze after the new growth has started to come out. But shouldn't affect the tree at all. The leader's still good. And a hemlock right there. So what I need to avoid, what I'd rather not have, is this, which is a quaking aspen or poplar. That'll spring up and it'll provide a canopy and stunt the growth of the other softwoods. So I'll keep an eye on that, but that really is probably not a concern for at least the next 10, maybe 15 years. So the next couple candidates, one is that leaner, where you can see the very top of it is starting to upright, but it looks like it's got a crack at the bottom. Its days are numbered, I'm sure, but it's a skinny one. We may not get any salvageable material. And the one next to it, this larger one, right there, you can see perhaps that near the top the needles have gone, but towards the bottom the needles are still there, and at the very top the needles are still green. So that hopefully is a good sound log, and it's, you know, probably an 8-10 inch diameter at breast height. So we'll take those 2 down. So this one here, I'd like to fell it. It would be easiest, I mean, to fell it straight that way. But the problem is, there's a lot of young trees. There's a couple white pines that I do not want to damage. So instead, I'm going to actually sort of go more the way it's leaning. I may be able to drop it to the ground over that way between some trees, or it might get hung up. If it gets hung up, that's fine. I'll pull it down. If it's rotten, I'll just cut it up and let it fall to the ground. I don't have nearly as many saplings adolescent trees, whatever you want to call them, over that way. So that worked out well. It did. It obviously made it to the ground. Avoided white pine. I think I have some nice spruce over there too that I don't want to damage. Anyhow, very sound log. Right now I only need the 16 footers. The need for the 10 footers, I have met that need, so it's just 16 footers now to sell to a local concentration yard. So I only got one 16-foot log out of that tree. The second 16-footer would have been probably 6 inches or less on the top end, and just decided it's not worth it. As a 16-foot log, it should easily snake out of here, make the corner. That's a dead tree anyhow, so that's fine to use that as a bumper. So the next one is this guy. I'm going to fell it there across the road behind my tractor. Pretty clear opening. The only difficulty is it has a slight lean the opposite direction. So I'm guessing it's sound. We'll see. I'll monitor the wood chips. I should be able to push it over with wedges. Two worst case scenarios. One is it falls that way. That's pretty open. It's not a big deal. I don't think I would hit at least the white pine sapling that I can see, the young tree. The other thing is perhaps I'll hook my cable to it with a snatch block and pull it over. But let's hope the wedges do the trick. left the hinge a little bit thick, so that's what I just did, is I cut a bit more to make the hinge a bit thinner because the wood is sound. It's leaning in the right direction, just hasn't decided to go there. I'm going to work at the hinge right there. It's still a good 2 inches. And I'm guessing with the lean it's got, it'll eventually fall. Hopefully in the right direction. Here it goes. That looks to be a very nice tree, now a nice log. So I'm glad I got it before it completely died. I'll look at the top in a bit now that it's at the ground. Just a little bit of center rot. I'll probably take a foot or two off the bottom, make sure that's nice sound wood, and then mark out what hopefully will be 3 16-footers, as long as I don't run into any problems. So 3 good logs. The top one here is probably a 7-inch diameter. Nice and straight, no rot, no weird limbs. So here at the top you can see, a lot of these branches are dying off. Down there actually in the road, the branches are nice. Needles are full, green, but up top it's dead. A very few live needles at the top. So I'm guessing I just got this in the nick of time before the wood started to deteriorate. So what I'm going to do now, there's the other tree that I fell right there. With the snow the way it is, I will clean up the tops, cut the slash pile, I guess they call it, when the snow goes away, and it's just a lot easier to get around. But I do have to clean up my road. So those 3 logs are roadside now, and I'll pick those up with my log trailer. I'm going to do the other ones. There's a pile there. Might be able to see in the snow. So we have this other 16-footer still back there to drag out. So I'll figure out a good line of sight for that and get that done. So there's the next candidate. It is alive and well. Well, other than its roots decided to give up a little bit. So there's no question as to which way it's going. The question might be, is it going to make it to the ground? Is it going to get hung up? And again, it's pretty thick in here. I have a road where the tractor is. I have a road that runs along there. So we'll get it down. If it's good wood, then we'll figure out best way to get it out. Well, it went down nicely. Somehow threaded its way through a couple of those tall spindly trees. I'm guessing I'll just get one 16-footer out of it, but it'll be easy to drag out that way since it didn't get hung up. There's our next one, right there, leaning to the left. It appears to be a nice healthy tree, at least from the top side. Might have been struck by lightning, just might have had some wind shear, but the bottom 10 feet does not look the best. So we'll take it down, and if it offers us anything for logs, then we'll take it. If not, we won't. got hung up in basically dead gray birch. Even if it was alive and well, it's still a gray birch, which means it's no good. So I'm going to cut that branch off, or that stem, that trunk. It may fall, it may be hung up there at the very top still in that spindly little tree. So let's see what happens. Oh, and it is a sound tree. I was surprised. Even down there it seemed to be sound. I'll probably cut it back here. A little bit dark in the center, but compared to what it was at the stump there, it's a huge improvement with 5 feet. Success! Finally had to take down another useless pole about 6 inches, 5 inches in diameter, breast height, that was not going to get any bigger. There's a lot of those in this particular stand in my forest, my woodlot, my backyard. So again, limit up, straight ahead. In fact, the tip of that tree is actually in my other road. So that should work well to drag it out to the road. Limit, cut it to length. So let's take that little tree down. That was what was preventing it from falling to the ground initially. So I'd probably cut 6 or 8 feet off the bottom. Let's finish dropping it to the ground. That's enough cleanup. I could spend days and days doing that and never pull any more logs out. So we got a couple more to do down the road a bit. So there's our next one. It's a little bit of a leaner there. Looks like a healthy tree, but it's crowded also. This one's easy to access. I'm just gonna fell it. There's actually an intersection where I have the road that goes left to right as well as the one that we're on. So it'll be there in the middle of the intersection to be cleaned up. So that one's done. Log is pushed off to the side. I was able to just get one. The second log would have been too small of a diameter. A little bit of evidence in the road, but that'll be covered up with about 8 or 10 inches of snow that are expected tonight into tomorrow. So I think that does it for the ones that I've marked that I can remember, but I did notice this large tree right here, which is a white spruce. It's very sparse in the needle department up towards the top, so it's probably on its way out of this life. So I will drop that in that clearing beyond there, which would be nice because I don't have to clean up the brush from the road. That's the clearing. It's in the, well, in the summer it's swampy. I guess it's swampy now. It's just covered with snow, which is, I'm guessing, why there's not a lot of tree growth in there. A lot of bigger branches on this, so it might take down that little spindly tree there with the branches as it goes, but c'est la vie. So it's being hung up by the branches because there's a red spruce on the other side of it. As I mentioned, the branches are rather thick on this. So I'm gonna slowly eat away at the hinge. It'll either fall because the hinge is helping it stay upright, or it'll rotate and fall down. But I'll be prepared for either way. See what happens. That's a really nice tree. Look at that. Nice centered pith, nice centered heart, evenly spaced growth rings, no rot. I did take down 2 small trees, that's fine. There's a couple nice ones there. So limb it up, drag it out, it'll be easy right next to the road here. The other thing, only half of the tree really had the large branches, so growing up it looks like it had more daylight to one side of the tree than the other. So I'm thinking half, 2/3 of the diameter probably has small dead knots for the most part. So I think 2 excellent logs. So let's back the tractor around and pull them out. does it for those 2 logs and that tree. And with the daylight fading, that does it for me as well for the day. And probably for harvesting softwood for the most part this winter. The next phase of my work will be moving up to my 45-acre woodlot, which is a couple miles up the road, where I need to cut in some roads. That's all hardwood, well, 95% hardwood. So that's where I'm gonna grab most of the firewood that I need for the rest of next year, but have about half of what I need. So stay tuned for that and join me up at the other woodlot in upcoming videos. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it.